Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to find your perfect perm duo. My last duo cup went really well and we went top 200 and I had a perm duo for less than 24 hours. We were so excited to keep playing and practicing, and we were already planning out for the next week. But then I got a Discord message from my duo later the next night, not even 24 hours after our first tournament, saying he broke both of his wrists, and wow, man, that would suck. But I'm going to be showing you why our duo worked so well and what kind of personality traits, what kind of attitudes really led to our success, and how you guys can replicate that. There's a lot of things that mess up a ton of duos, whether it's people's egos or generally like bad attitudes towards the game can dismantle a team. But what kind of compatibility should we be looking for in a duo? Because in a lot of times, some duos just really don't work, and I've had a lot in the past, and I've learned a lot from them. A lot of the biggest duo differences are how dominant the person is and how like outspoken they are. While like, let's say, as an IGL, you want to be more dominant and want to be able to be very outspoken and be able to lock down your teammate and kind of control them. But as a fragger, it can be kind of difficult for the IGL if the fragger is way too confident and has way too big of an ego and thinks they can IGL, and they're kind of trying to take over, and it doesn't really go very well because that's not really their expert in field. So that kind of dismantles the team, and this happened countless times where once I start getting out like spoke, I kind of just give up on even trying the IGL because their ego is just getting in the way of the whole thing, and that dismantles so many good teams and really throws away tournaments, because then you have the fragger IGLing and they're really not meant for that. And even when they stop like IGLing really hard and they want your help, you're kind of already in that like giving up mode because you have been talked over for like over an hour in all your key games and stuff, and that's really annoying. So try to find an IGL if you are really dominant as a fragger and really outspoken. Try to find an IGL that's like very strong in conversation, but as an IGL, you should try to find a fragger that just listens and that's kind of quieter. And that's why even if they're not quieter, there's a lot of people that are just willing and open to fully trust you and listen to you. And I think whether you have an ego or not, trust is always the biggest thing. When a fragger trusts its IGL and the IGL is a good IGL, you're going to have a great tournament and it's going to flow very smoothly because every single person's doing their job and there's nobody overlapping or trying to take over in like a controlling fashion. And I think that's probably why most random duos don't really work out, because when people find random duos, they really don't fully trust them because they really want to control the whole gameplay. Both people want to be in control because they don't have full trust in their duo. They don't fully know their skill of their duo and the viability of their callouts and viability of their rotates and everything. And a lot of fraggers can't fully put their trust in if they don't fully know the person, if they haven't played with the person. And I think it goes both ways in a sense with the IGLing trusting the fragger. If the IGL doesn't fully trust the fragger in fights, it can kind of mess up fights because you play differently, you play more passively, and while the fragger is getting 1v2ing and you're trying to play box fights and he's trying to build a fight, it kind of clashes when your duo is getting 1v2'd and you can't really get to him because you've been playing box fights most of the fight. So it kind of goes both way in the sense, but it's more definitely on the side of having the IGL in control. But yeah, that's really just how kind of confidence and stuff leads into, and ego leads into how good teammates are. But another big thing is the attitude side of the thing. That also in random duos can be a thing where like once you start doing badly and stuff, because you just start thinking that your teammate's bad at the game, you kind of start giving up because you're like, why did I choose this guy? I found the wrong random duo. Like the doubt kind of starts seeping in, and that kind of prevents some comebacks. So the best way to kind of fix this is to have somebody on your team that's kind of hyping you up or kind of bringing you back in the game, like saying like we could still do this, like things like words of encouragement and stuff like that, and just never giving up is really going to be the best thing. Because I've had tournaments that look really bleak, like we're doing terribly, we're in top 8,000 or something like that, but we just lock in and win the last 2 games or do really well in the last 2 games, and we end up in like top 2,000 or better. And a lot of people give up, but you should just never give up. You should always finish out every tournament because the practice is so good. And that's another thing with practice, is that have like your duo or permanent duo have the same like attitude about practicing, because some duos want to do vital scrims and stuff all the time. Some duos literally just get on just to play the tournament, and they don't really play the game at all, or they play the Europe and the North America tournament, so they get double practice. And depending on, like, ask their expectations of how much they want you to be on the game and how much you want them to be on the game. So, like, because a lot of teams can really perform much better if they have practice together, because some of the best teams in the future had really big differences in the beginning, but slowly worked out those quirks and stuff over a few months. But in my opinion, it's definitely way easier just to find a duo right away that has similar personality and attitude to you, because you guys just click right away. You can got really good placements because they fully trust you. And I think that, yeah, that's basically it with that. Lastly, I kind of wanted to go over a much easier way that I think people would understand more, with like green flags and red flags. Like, what's a red flag and what's a green flag when you get into a duo setting and in randoms and stuff? Like, how can you identify good teammates right away? And how can you identify bad teammates right away? I think one of the biggest green flags that normally I'm the one who's doing this, don't toot my own horn, but yeah, is having a full strategy and knowing their drop spot like perfectly as an IGL before you even start. Like, if you guys already have a whole planned loot stream where you're gonna follow, or a complete like strategy of where you're landing if the bus is in which location, being fully prepared for every single thing that can happen is definitely a green flag. If they're already preparing for things to go badly, or already having second options and stuff where to land, that's a great green tip. Because I think, let's say if you're in top 500 or top 200 last game and you land in the exact same spot every game, but this time the battle bus is right over it and it's a yellow like drone location, you're gonna have the whole lobby drop on you, and that's gonna kind of screw you. Even though every other game went well there because the battle bus wasn't over there, people definitely change their drops where the battle bus is because they're too impatient to wait or to glide really far on the map, or they want kills. So even switching your drops to some random location on the edge of the map has saved so many tournaments, and having that flexibility in your IGL's mind and to not be so stuck on one location is such a green flag. Next, I think my first red flag is, like, if you play a rank match something in there and they're already starting to argue with you or already telling you to get better at something or improve at something, not just mentioning it, but like genuinely like kind of attacking you almost, like looking for you to control you and like change you as a person. And that's definitely a red flag. Of course, constructive criticism is definitely important when you have new duos, because you could be like, let's say what I would say was, next time, like, let's do this a little bit differently. Not that, why did you go down there? Or why did you do that? Like, how stupid was that? Or something like, just nasty comments that aren't needed and kind of bring down the confidence of your duo. You want to have a teammate that's really hyping you up, not a teammate that's bringing you down. And that's another red flag. Another green flag is when the fragger is like, he knows his abilities. Like, he's not overconfidently like pushing red line or doing something silly that he definitely knows you can't do. Like saying like, yeah, we're gonna drop a 40 bomb first game or a 35 kill game when you guys are like okay at the game, or you guys are trying to qual when you haven't even gotten top 500. Like, it's just like big expectations or big egos, like overthinking that you're gonna do better than you actually are with no prior placements or anything, and you kind of have to expect that you're not gonna do as well with a random duo. So just kind of like blind, like not having any clue of reality is a big red flag. And I think a green flag on the opposite side of that is having a duo that understands the game and understands their weaknesses and their strengths. So if the person's not good at build fights, let's get in boxes and try to fight only box fights, because that really works. But then another thing is that kind of can clash with, let's say one person's good at build fighting and one person's good at box fights. That kind of clashes, because then you always have one person that's not doing as well as they could be doing. But yeah, I think those are the major ones that I haven't outlined in the rest of the video. And I think this video has been quite long. So guys, I'm gonna head off. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it would mean so much that you guys liked and subscribed. And I would like to see what you guys think about this video and what you want in the future. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys have an amazing night. Goodbye, everyone.